Today, we are diving into one of the most underrated openings for white, the Colle System. It's simple, solid, and surprisingly dangerous, even played in World Championship matches. This is a perfect opening if you're tired of memorizing theory. The Colle has one main setup and just 1 to 2 key plans to remember. But don't be fooled by its simplicity. It's a deadly system that can launch a direct attack on the opponent's king, and somehow they rarely have a good defense. In this video, I'll walk you through exactly how to play the Colle, covering all the key ideas, strategies, and plans. Perfect for beginners to club players. So let's begin. d4, knight f6, knight f3, d5, and now e3. From here, the Colle system begins. We basically put the bishop on c1. Generally, any good player would like to develop the bishop on f4, which is a good square for the bishop. But in the Colle system, we would like to keep the bishop on c1 for now. Black plays the move e6. Another move is to play the move bishop to f5, which we are going to discuss. Starting with e6, we develop the bishop to d3, which is the main move in the Colle system. Black plays c5, striking in the center. White plays the move b3. And now the key idea of b3 here is to stop black from playing the move c4. And on the other hand, white wants to develop the bishop on b2, which is the key idea once again in the Colle system. Black plays the move knight to c6, simply developing the knight. White castles up. And now once again black is having two key options. Black can either go for capturing the pawn on d4 in the center or just develop the bishop. That's it. Starting with c cross g4, capturing the pawn. White captures it back. And now black is thinking that whenever white would develop the bishop on b2, it would be a bad bishop, staring at his own pawn. So after e cross d4, black plays bishop to d6, simply developing the bishop. White plays bishop to b2, castle, and now a3. Now a3 is a move which covers the b4 square from the knight jumping onto b4, attacking the bishop on d3. With the white pieces, we would like to keep the bishop pair on the board. If knight b4, we can simply go back with bishop e2. So after e3, black plays b6, with the idea of simply finishing the development by developing the light square bishop. We develop the knight to d2, black develops the bishop, and now we put the queen on e2. So after queen e2, you have seen we have developed all our pieces and now we are ready. Rook e8. Black still trying to complete the development, and now this is our time to centralize our knight on e5, which is the key idea in the Colle system, the beginning of an attack. After knight e5, for example, if black goes for capturing the knight, it's already a bad idea. We simply recapture the bishop, the knight have to fall back, and now just f4. The knight on f6 was the key defender for black. But as there is no knight on f6, the bishops are very strong, f4 has come in, queen h5, knight f3, knight g5, rook f3, rook h3, and black king is already in big trouble. Going back, that's why capturing the knight would be a bad idea. Rook c8 makes sense, simply developing the pieces. But now f4 once again getting all in. Black still tries to develop the queen, and now we simply do a rook left with rook to f3. After rook f3, we are giving options to the a rook whether to go on e1 or whether to come on f1. So after rook f3, black is like, okay, let's play the move knight e7, which is the best move in the position. The idea is to get the maximum pieces on the king side, try to defend the king. White plays rook to h3. Black plays knight to g6. And now currently the f4 pawn is hanging, so white can simply get all the pieces with rook f1. And now, for example, in this position, I gave it a thought, but I'm not really having any good idea for black to continue the position. Black has indeed developed all his pieces, but currently black is not really having any idea up his sleeve. So I'm going to make some random move, waiting moves to see what is going to be the idea of white. Rook e7, we are going to play the move c3. Now any good player would like to play the move g4, going all in. g5, trying to attack the black king. But in this position, g4 would be a bad move, because black is only having one counter attack, which is to play the move knight to e4. After knight e4, after trading on e4, we are losing the c2 pawn, which is the key reason. Going back, we are first going to play the move c3, defending the pawn with the bishop. And after c3, black simply goes back, just waiting move. Now bishop b1. Maybe there could be an idea of queen e3, making a diagonal attack on h7 pawn. Black plays rook e7, just a4, giving no idea of black to give any counterplay. And after rook e8, we are finally prepared to do a kingside attack with g4. Once again a waiting move, g5. The knight goes back, it's time to get the queen into the game. Queen h5 simply threatening a mate on h7. Black tries to defend it with knight f8, but now it's time to get the d knight into the game with knight to f3. Black have to make a passive move, knight to h4. You can't take because I'm simply having rook h4 and bishop h7 is coming up. Black have to make a waiting move once again, but now knight to g6. You can't take with the h pawn or with the knight because eventually it would be a mate. You have to take with the f pawn, but now bishop cross g6, sacrificing the bishop. You take it back, but simply queen h7 check, king f8, queen h8, sacrificing the queen, and that's a mate. So that's how you play this particular variation, launching a deadly attack to the opponent's king. Now going back, in this position, instead of c cross d4, if black tries to go for playing the move bishop to d6, which is another common way to continue the position, we are going to play the move bishop to b2. Black castles up, and we simply play the move once again, the same idea of a3, covering the b4 square from the knight, attacking the bishop. Black plays b6, with the idea of once again simply developing the bishop. We develop the knight, the bishop goes to b7, we once again centralize the knight on e5. That's it. And now, once again capturing the knight would be a bad idea. We simply capture it back, the knight goes back, f4. With the same idea of queen h5, rook f3, rook h3, knight f3, knight g5, launching a deadly attack on the black's king. Going back, black tries to finish the development with rook to c8. We play the move f4. Black tries to play the move knight to e7, which is the best move in the position, once again trying to defend the black king. We play the move queen to f3 this time, getting the queen into the game. Black takes the pawn, which makes sense. Takes because if black does not take at the right time, maybe we can take on c5, trying to open up the dark square bishop. Going g4, g5 makes so much sense. Black takes and we recapture the pawn. Black plays knight to f5. And now after knight f5, many of the players would love to take on f5, ruining up black's pawn structure. At the first glance it looks good, but it's a bad idea. Black can now simply solidify his knight on e4. And in this position, we are having a good bishop versus a bad knight. So instead of capturing the knight for the bishop, we are simply going to play the move c3. That's it. Following the same idea which I have shown you in the previous position, simply defending the pawn. Black plays rook e8 and now just g4, attacking the knight. The knight goes to h4, attacking the queen. And now many players would love to play the move something like queen f2 or queen g3, which is a fine move. But by playing the move queen f2, the knight goes back. Black's idea is to play the move knight to e4, which is a good move. So that's the reason we play the move queen to e2, simply taking control of e4 square, not allowing black to get knight to e4 in the position. Black plays a waiting move and now just rook e1, taking a full control of the e4 square. Black once again plays a waiting move and now queen f2, attacking the knight. The knight goes back and now you have to play the move queen to g2. Not you have to play, but it's a concept. Queen g2 basically covers the e4 square and not allowing black to play the move knight e4. If white plays queen g3, it would be a bad idea. Black is once again having knight e4, basically having a trade on e4, and now black can take on e5. Once we recapture it, black is having queen d5, attacking the rook and the pawn. Material wise, it's even. It definitely looks much better for white, but still, black is having his own counterplay in the position. Going back, that's why queen g2, giving absolutely no counterplay to opponent. Black can play knight h4, attacking the queen once again, but now queen h3, the knight goes back, and now g5, attacking the knight. And now in this position, if black tries to centralize the knight with e4, we can first take on g6. Takes, and now we can simply trade on e4, and we are simply a pawn up, and I believe many of the viewers would be able to convert this position into a win. Going back, after g5, if black plays the move knight to d7, going back with the knight, Now we are simply having a nice sacrifice on f7. King f7, queen h7, attacking the knight. The knight have to go back, but now g6 check. The king goes to f6, but now queen h4, and that's a checkmate. So that's exactly what happens if black goes for playing the move bishop to d6, covering all the variation. Now going back, in this position, instead of e6, if black goes for playing the move bishop to f5, developing the bishop, we can simply play the move c4. This is a time for us to strike in the center. Black tries to defend it, we develop the knight, black pushes the pawn, trying to develop the dark square bishop, and now we simply play the move knight to h4, which is the key idea in this position. The bishop is out, the pawns are covered up so the bishop can't really go back. This is a perfect opportunity for us to play the move knight h4, attacking the bishop. The bishop falls back, or else we are going to simply capture the bishop, ruining up black's pawn structure. The bishop have to fall back, but now just capturing the bishop, and now we have this position where there are tons of ideas for white to continue the position. But the idea that I like personally to continue the position is to play the move bishop to d2. First of all, we are having the bishop pair advantage, which is a good thing in the long run. Black develops the knight, and now we develop the queen, giving black some hint that we are going to do a long castle, which is a very dangerous move for black. Black develops the bishop, and now long castle. And now what's the idea of white? White wants to play the move king b1, safeguarding the king on a nice square, and then continue the game with f3, g4, h4, expanding on the king side, and that's exactly what white is preparing to do. Castling would be a very bad idea. We are simply going to launch a king side attack. So for example, if black tries to do the same by doing a long castle, but now c5, first attacking the bishop. The bishop falls back, and now queen f4, attacking the a7 pawn. The king tries to protect the pawn, but now b4, with the intention of playing b5, king a1, rook b1, launching a deadly attack. Black is like fine a6, stopping b5, but now bishop cross a6. If you want to play it safe, you can also play the move queen b3, a4 b5, which is also good. But simply bishop cross a6, ba6, queen a6, and just king a1, rook b1, b5, and black is getting checkmated and white is completely winning. So that's exactly how you play the Colle system. It's very simple to remember. There is no much of a theory. It's a particular system. White is having 1 to 2 key plans to remember. That's it. Many of the times, black simply underestimate this opening. That's the key reason this is a very underrated opening. At the very least, you can at least ensure a draw. Losing with Colle system is absolutely very hard if you play simple chess. So this is a particular opening that I would like to suggest you guys to play at the very highest level and even against your friends. If you are able to master this particular opening by watching the games of top players to understand this opening even better, you are really going to score some very good points and maybe win some tournaments. So that's it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed the analysis, this particular opening. I made sure to cover all the key ideas which are humanly possible. So that's it. Thank you for watching. I'm going to see you in the next one, and bye bye.